your views about the purposes of education and what they should be, and your vision statement that tries to encapsulate those things will all be underpinned by your values, the things that you think are important, like equity and diversity. And they'll be underpinned by your beliefs, beliefs about things like global challenges, which we're going to look at a bit more in detail now. So let's start with some technological challenges. We've got issues to do with surveillance capitalism, that notion that people are collecting data about us and that all those little bits of data can be combined in all sorts of ways, which we can't control, but which may mean that people can start to control us. Have you signed up for the COVID-19 app? Do you trust that the data will be used appropriately and won't be used for other purposes? Do you have any idea what Facebook and Google and WhatsApp and other people do with the data that you provide them free of charge? The extent to which they can use that to manipulate you and get you to behave in certain ways? What about biotechnology and genetic engineering? Our ability to change genes, to edit genes, to change the eye color of babies, or more dramatically, to start to get rid of conditions like maybe Down syndrome. And should we be allowed to do that? That's kind of playing God. And if we are allowed to do that, who should be allowed to do it? Only the rich people? Or should everybody have access to this technology? Some really tricky ethical and philosophical questions. And then what about robotics, AI, and cyborg engineering? Our ability to augment our physicality, to make ourselves stronger, faster, our ability to improve our hearing or our eyesight. And what happens when AI starts to do things that we thought of as being uniquely human? We've defined human beings as being different to other species because of our intelligence, our ability to communicate and to think. But when technology can start to do some of those things that we've called intelligence in the past, how does that redefine us and our role and how we view ourselves? And what about automation and unemployment? Now, this study in 2013 from academics in Oxford suggesting that nearly half of the US population would be out of a job in 10 to 20 years. Now, that was in 2013, so we're talking by 2023, 2033. And then you get the kind of neoliberal argument from Shift Happens. I'm going to share the Shift Happens video with you as one of the provocations later on in the week. But basically what Shift Happens says is, yeah, jobs will be automated, but new jobs will come along. And what we need is for people to be flexible and creative and entrepreneurial and problem solvers, and everything will be okay. But then you get other people like Ford in 2009 who said, no, actually, new jobs will come along, but they'll be automated too. And actually what's going to happen is people will be unemployable. What is the purpose of school if you're not preparing people for work? And then you get all the issues to do with demographics and environmental challenges, growing populations and changing demographics, a larger proportion of older people whose pensions are being paid by the younger people. But as you have a larger and larger pool of old people and a smaller pool of young people, sustaining that becomes more and more problematic. And people are living longer. They'll need support with pensions for longer. It's going to cause massive rifts between the old and the young. And then you've got all the issues about resource sustainability, pollution, and global warming. Now, there is a limited, finite amount of resource in the world, and we're using it up fast. And as we get global warming and rising sea levels and starvation in certain areas because of changing weather patterns, for example, we're going to see increased migration. And how are we going to react to that? And all of these things are going to be increasing the divide between the very, very rich and everybody else. And they're going to be increasing civil strife and the risk of conflict. And technology is changing fast. But how fast? Let's have a look at that now.